Okay, hey guys, welcome back to the TrinFx channel. My name is the Homie Fletcher, and I'm from the TrinFx Discord community, Telegram, as well as this YouTube channel. And we're just gonna get into it real quick, right? I did record this video previously, but there was a slight issue with the camera recording myself, and it kind of lagged and froze. So I'm redoing this video here because I love and care about you guys, and I know some of you really value the weekly analysis. All right, and we're just gonna take a straight dive into it, and I want to start off with the fundamentals that we do have coming up for this week. All right. So I already labeled out the fundamentals that we do have to pay attention to starting from Wednesday. Wednesday is where we see more so of the bulk of the heavy impactful news events coming out. And one of the things that we need to see and pay attention to is PMI data as well as FOMC minutes. Okay. And I want to take a look at the NFP numbers and sort of the reaction that the markets had coming to the close of last week. Right. And we'll take a look at that just now. Also on Thursday, we have some more news events for the US dollar. We do have jobless claims, and we also have inflation, core inflation, and CPI data as well, like for the month of September. So all of these are high impactful USD news. And we also have some GBP news, right? So GDP for the pound as well. Look, to see a positive change from the previous. And we also have some China related news here. So I think on this day, on Thursday itself, we would have a lot of US dollar movement just because with China, as we do have their inflation rate coming out, it really would show rather, is there going to be a strain on the Chinese economy? If there is a strain on the Chinese economy, that means that there will be a strain on supply demand as well as just branching out to other economies, right? More so impacting the US as China and the US do a lot of business together. So if the Chinese economy looks like it's faltering, that could affect supply demand for the transactions that China would have with the US. And that could lead into some US dollar weakness depending. So these are two things that we need to pay attention to, the CPI and also the Chinese news events that we do have coming out, such as the inflation rate. If we see an increase here, what that means for the Chinese economy and kind of like what it means overall in total, because China does a lot of business with a lot of economies. So that would be really impactful, and I would be really it would be really interesting to see what that news event does to the markets, if anything. All right. And that's basically it. Where we have the bulk of our news data coming out is on the Thursday as well as the Wednesday. And that's about it. So I want to take a look at last week. All right. And I'm just going to rewind it back to last week. All right. So last week when we had interest rate decision, sorry, not interest rate, but hold on, I just got to pull this down. So when we had on the Friday, right? So we had unemployment numbers on the Friday, and we also had, we had NFP numbers, unemployment rate, and then we had some CAD news. So we could see here that NFP actually came up pretty strong, right? At 336,000 jobs creation, as well as 170 was a consensus, okay? So with this being said, we had a negative move on the markets. So what does that mean? You can see here at the initial spike up, that is when we had the news coming out for NFP, but then price markets quickly rallied from this side and pushed all the way back down. So bears came back into control of this market and we pushed, correcting that entire move and closing bearish on the day back into this area here of interest. Now, what does that mean overall for the US economy? Now, this could be taken in a bunch of various ways, all right? But I want to focus more so on the technical aspect rather than the fundamental, bombard you guys with the fundamentals, all right? So on the technical aspect, starting off with looking at the DXY. You can see overall price did push into these higher areas, right? Pushing past this area of resistance, we had price reacting to this level pretty a bunch, right? So we had price reacting to this level a bunch of times, and we saw that initial push to the upside. We had a retest on this daily candle, wicking from that area, just kind of reaffirming that this is a strong area that we need to pay attention to, a strong psychological zone as well. You can see it as such as a key level. All right. And when we say key level, that could be maintained as like an even number, psychological number. Looking at 105, 500, 106, 600, between those two areas. All right. So we saw price pushed up. Then we see this sort of resistance coming here and price pull back down, possibly for a retest of this area. So I am still dollar bullish for the time being, but looking at the current price action movement, I do think that if we are looking to take any dollar longs, we have to wait to see price interact with this major zone first and then see that push above, right, from this major zone. So this is the thing. You want to pay attention to where price coming into on the DXY. This is the dollar strength. And you'll see that reflected on any of the US cross pairs. Okay. So I would say you need to have some patience and actually wait to see price either retest into this level or see price maintain this as an area and then push away from that. Now, these are the two things I'm paying attention to. Price pulling down here at that point, looking to go dollar long. And if price is able to just continue pushing up, this will be the next area of interest. If price could break here to continue moving up. Overall, on the daily time frame for hourly and the 1 hourly, we are bullish on the daily and the 4 hourly. 1 hour, we came down from this key level here. And this could possibly be because, all right, we had US dollars, we had US bond treasuries selling off, right? Just to kind of control back into the markets. That is something that could have been one of the key potential things that played into this movement coming to the market close. All right. But that is all speculation, right? So we can't really attest as why the dollar moved in this way, rather than just speculating as to, what the move what could have caused that movement, right? This could be just because of US treasury bonds. With that being said, yeah, I'm just focusing on the key areas here. This aspect, which I'm paying attention to. Price come back in here, or price manages to push above. Overall, for the upcoming week, we don't have much to pay attention to in first 2 days of the week. So things should be pretty calm for the US dollar unless we see something happening on the spur, right? What we need to pay attention to is coming on Wednesday, looking at PPI. Sorry, not PPI, right? But on Wednesday, just coming here. Right. So on Wednesday, we have the FOMC minutes. We have PPI as well. All right. On the Thursday, we also have the jobless claims, inflation rate, and CPI, right? So these are the things that we need to pay attention to. Well, we'll see some dollar movement, right? And I do think overall we should see dollar bullishness. However, again, this is just my belief, my take on the current markets. I think it has a higher probability of actually playing off rather than seeing some selling off on the US dollar continuing, right? Obviously, this is subject to change. One other thing that I'm paying attention to is looking at AUD-USD, right? For instance, I'm looking for sell opportunities if price manages to pull back down into this area. Again, dollar bullishness overall. Here on the daily time frame, we can see price is very strong to the downside. We had this range here, price interacted with this level multiple times. And then we had this break the downside, and then we had this pullback up here. Now, price did pull above this zone just a little bit. So as we come into the new week, I am expecting to see some interaction back into this level and a continuation to the downside. So I am looking for sells on AUD-USD. We don't have anything to really be paying attention and focus in terms of the AUD. Risk off tones, I would say, are pretty much higher. So I do think there's a higher probability to see price continuing with the trend rather than a complete reversal of price going upwards. All right. Now, obviously, I'm not, I'm not a clairvoyant or anything like that. Not a prophet of the markets or anything. So anything could happen, but I think there's a higher probability of seeing price play to the downside. Overall, the things that we are looking at and needing to pay attention to. This is just what the charts are indicating for the most part and fundamentally as well. Another thing that I'm looking at, right? So I'm looking at AUD-USD, EUR-USD as well. They do show the same price action movement. I'm being more conservative on EUR-USD. Usually when we do have a weaker USD, we have a strong euro, vice versa. So I am looking for price to come and pull back, right, at this level here. And you could actually take a daily analysis from this as well. All right, so we see that price came into this zone here. We had price coming into this area multiple times, this general area, right? If prices continue moving down to the downside, I want to see a wick fill of this wick, right? So I want to see a fill of this wick, or just price filling the body of that wick, and then a continuation below that level. So this is why I'm paying attention to just this area here to take a possible sell on your USD, being more conservative, right? So that is sort of my take on it. If price does manage to pull lower here, as soon as we reach into this level, I think the interaction we have there, we should see a continuation to these lows here. All right, so this is sort of my take on the price action movement, what I'm expecting to see from your USD. All right, other than that, not really much else to pay attention to. GPCHF was a trade I was looking at a point of time, but you can see price actions just ranging. NZD CAD as well. I was looking for a sell opportunity right here. Didn't enter it, but you can see price continue pushing up. The Canadian dollar itself has been pretty weak last week. I managed to take a couple of losses. I took quite a bit of losses last week, just roughly around 6%, and the week before that 6% as well, which is very rare. But it happens. Sometimes you run into a losing streak. It's just, you have to take the wins with the losses and learn from the mistakes. So with NZD CAD, again, I am expecting to be more risk off in terms of tones. We did have CAD bullishness last week coming to the market close. So I'm expecting to see some sort of recovery on this. However, being more conservative and just, I'm not trying to be right or anything like that. Just doing what the market show me. I want to see price first initially pull past this area here and then see a continuation moving down. Reason why this area, because you can see this is a key area of support / resistance, right? First resistance, price pushed above this area strongly. So we came back here, right? Have a strong close to the downside. Well, a strong move to the downside, sorry. Price wicked, and this was right here on the Friday news, and then we came back up. So this is why I'm paying attention to this level. If we manage to close below this level here, then I do think we should see a continuation to these lows here. My initial profit target, where I had it initially, right, on the previous trade setup. So that is sort of my take on this and what I'm waiting on to possibly see. And I'm going to be taking my time, right, because we're coming to the ending of the year. Markets are going to be slow. It's going to be haphazard. It's going to be volatile. Just because there's a lot of things happening coming to the end of the year, right? So with that being said, I'm going to be more conservative. This week, I would be entering my usual 6% risk, 6 to 8%. And if it doesn't pan out, then the following week, because I don't let, having a losing streak or anything, I don't let it play with my mentality. If I see a trade setup, fits with my rules, I'm going to take the trade, right? Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. The hope is, or the goal is, that your winners outweigh your losers, and therefore you maintain profitability. All right. So I'm going to stick with my trading strategy. Time and time again, it has proven me right. It's making money. So I'm not going to let FOMO, I'm not going to let, the losing streak or anything affect my mentality or my trading strategy. Right. So this is what I'm looking at currently right now. Something else we could pay attention to, right? So gold. All right, so let me just go to gold. So gold has been just ranging into this general area here. Overall, you can see we have a very strong downtrend. Now, in my case, again, I am dollar bullish. So I do think at this level, we could see price come back and fill all the way down, fill the zone to this support area, right? And continue moving down. Obviously, we can have pullbacks within this major move. So that is something you could pay attention to. Maybe we might have a pullback. But generally, I do think that we should see a downtrend continuation. So just look at that areas you can get into the sell opportunities. But yeah, I think that we have a better probability to see price pull lower here and just continue with the lows. Obviously, we don't have any USD news to pay attention to until the Wednesday. So we should have 2 days of clean US dollar traded, right? So I'm going to take advantage of that. All right, guys. So that's it for this weekly analysis video. Don't want to keep you guys here too long. Thank you so much for joining in. If you found this video informative and insightful, then please feel free to leave a like, help the channel out. It really helps a tremendous amount. It gets it out there, it gets the YouTube algorithm working, and just yeah, overall, really would appreciate it. I do appreciate you guys for tuning in. And also leave a comment. What are you guys watching? I know some of you rather trade gold and the pound and just kind of go back and forth between those two because have the better volatility or better market movement. But let's find the pound itself. All right, we did have a okay-ish move last week, but it's just been ranging. This is usually what I've been seeing for the majority of the time, like this. And you can see there's a span of what, 8 days. This is 8 days right here. So from 21st to 28th of September, this was just the pound right there. Pound yen. So I don't know. Right. But yes, just let me know in the comments what you guys are looking at. And I do hope everybody have a great weekend as well as a great upcoming trading week. Peace. Feel free to reach out to me. See you guys later.